Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm calling this session the Boardroom Revision to order and acknowledge that we are in Treaty 1 territory, the home and traditional lands of the Ojibwe, Cree, and Dakota peoples, and the national homeland of the Red River Métis. Our drinking water comes from Shoal Lake 40 First Nation Treaty 3 territory. My name is Harvey Diamond. With me today on item number 1 is Lynn McFadden and Valerie Werhoon, and Gisela Rempel will be joining us, and Lynn McFadden leaving for the remaining items on the agenda today. The City Assessment Department is represented by Mr. Stephen Lobenstein, and our administrator is Fran Picato. We will be hearing application for revision of the assessment rules in accordance with the Municipal Assessment Act. The matters for which revision have been requested and described in each application, and we will limit discussion to those matters. The statements that are made at this hearing are sworn testimony. Anyone speaking to the matters must first be sworn in. Be advised, the comparisons of assessments of properties are not considered as evidence of market value by the Board of Revision. The Board of Revision is appointed annually by Council and is independent of it and the City Administration. We make our decisions on the basis of the evidence provided at this hearing and will issue written orders that we've mailed to all parties as soon as possible. Please note that a board's decision with respect to an application may be appealed. The matter will be a civil board if the matter pertains to assessed value or to classification, or to the Court of King's Bench if the matter pertains to an application for exemption from taxation. And should you wish to appeal, information on do so will be included with our order. With respect to the hearing process, I will confirm the points of appeal with your property to be addressed to each applicant following the swearing in. We will then have the assessment testimony followed by questions, and then the applicant may have, and then the applicant's testimony followed by any questions. Each side will have an opportunity to summarize if they wish to do so. Once all the evidence upon an application is brought forward, the applicant may leave. The process will repeat for each item on the docket today, and the session will close after all applications have been heard, and the board will deliberate in private and make its decisions. You receive the board's decision by written mail as soon as possible. As information, all public hearings are live streamed, recorded, and will form part of a public record. And today we'll be hearing items 1 and 3, 4, and 5 on the docket today. And Ms. Picato, can you please affirm the assessor and the applicant's testimony at this time?
Certainly. I'll just let Ms. Rumpel out of the room first.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Assessor, please state your full name.
Stephen Lobenstein.
Do you affirm that the evidence you're about to give at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Mr. Applicant, please state your full name.
Howard Lindsay McCubbin.
Do you affirm that the evidence you're about to give at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Okay. The first item on the agenda today is the property at 530 Century Street. And I see that there's both parties have filed 2 briefs, one for the initial hearing and one for today. I'm assuming that we only have to look at the latter briefs filed. Is that correct, Mr. Lopez and Mr. McCubbin?
So the original briefs are just included for your information because this item was opened before. They weren't refiled. The assessor and the applicant filed for this hearing the
Right.
briefs.
Right. I'm just saying that the February 3rd filings are the ones that are pertinent today.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah. Okay. So, okay, on this one we have both amount of assessment, class, and liability. So, Mr. Lobenstein, you can actually go ahead with anything that's been agreed upon. As I understand, there has been some agreement, and then we can get right to the argument.
Sure. I'll read in the roll. I'll read in the roll number and the value. So it's the roll number 0700214320. It's 530 Century Street. We have an assessed value of $17,902,000. This is split between 2 different classifications. 40 institutional properties, which is school tax exempt, and 60 for other property, which is taxable. The appellant and I have had a conversation. We've come to an agreement on value for the property. So we have an agreement of value of $16,505,000. That's $16,505,000. We are in disagreement on the 40 institutional portion, the 40S portion of the property. They are requesting that 2 separate premises be included in the 40S. We would be in agreement with the Vision of Independence as they are already in there and are school tax exempt. They've just expanded their space by 1,517 square feet. So in my calculation for the recommendation for the 40S section, I have 5,360 square feet and applying a rate of $8.35 a square foot. All other parameters are the same. And then I get a value of $681,000. And then for the 60T portion, I have a total area of 124,619 square feet. Again, applying $8.35 a square foot. All the parameters are the same as in my income workup, and I get $15,824,000. Sorry, that's $15,824,000, and that would equal my total of $16,505,000 for the total. So that is my recommendation today.
Okay, so it seems to me then that after the arguments, based on everything, if we agree on a higher 40S, it would just come off the 60T.
That's correct.
Yeah. Okay, that sounds fine. Now, ordinarily, then we have a class and liability situation. So I think in that case, Mr. McCubbin has to go first.
That's correct.
Okay. So
Okay,
will you take it from here?
My apologies, Mr. Chair. There's just the issue of late evidence for the cap rate report for all items on this docket.
Well, if they have an agreement, I don't know if it's necessary to even hear it. Because they've come to an agreement on everything, and so we're just basically, I don't think cap rate's really an issue. Is that not correct?
That's correct, Mr. Chairman.
And I have no objection to it either, so.
Yeah, and we don't have to see it because you agreed on the cap rate, obviously, if you came to a final agreement.
That's correct.
Okay, but thank you for pointing that out, Ms. Picato.
No problem.
Okay, so Mr. McCubbin, if you, I guess we'll let you then go first on, I think you have a second charity, not the Visions, but the other one, wine, is that the wine counter or?
It is the SCE LifeWorks Inc.
Okay, you want to bring that forward then? And maybe if there's any portion, well, you can direct us through your evidence in that regard.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So we're dealing with 530 Century Street. File number is 24-1729. The current assessed value is $17,359,000 for class code 60 and $543,000 for class code 40S. We're requesting an assessed value of $14,820,000 for class code 60 and $1,688,000 for class code 40S. You've heard we agree on the value already with respect to this property in totality. It just comes down, Mr. Chairman, to the split with respect to the 40S. In regard to that, the city has taken the position that that SCI is not eligible for this class code 40 split, and we think they are. And I would just like to say that every organization essentially has administrative space. I don't believe that the city is denying that this is a charitable organization. They're only denying it because the space that's occupied here by the tenant is for administrative purposes. So it is a requirement for them to provide services that they do, nevertheless. That use should not, in it and of itself, disqualify it for this space. The city's logic implies, Mr. Chairman, that there is another location. And I must say the intellectually disabled is helped through the administration from this property. There is no other location with respect to this organization. And that's my comments with respect to the 40S section here. And I'm open to questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Lobenstein, questions, please.
I don't have any questions for Mr. McCubbin. I'll just speak to it myself when it's my turn.
Okay. Ms. McFadden, any questions?
So you're saying that the services to the disabled are delivered from this site?
That is correct.
Okay, thank you. That's all my questions.
Thank you. Ms. Guerrero, do you have any questions?
I do not at this time. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, so I guess my question, Mr. McCubbin, is what exactly is done at this location?
They assist people with intellectual disabilities.
Well, I know the charity does. I mean, this location, what exactly do they do? What is,
Oh,
why
I
is
have
this
not
location,
inspected,
no, why is this location essential to the charity itself?
because this is where they operate the administrative piece of the organization. And you can look at this as the sole location for the organization, because they don't have any other space, Mr. Chairman. But they do, it is a charitable organization, and all I'm told that's located in this unit is the administrative offices. They find work for the intellectually disabled.
Okay, and we're talking about an area of 4,730 square feet.
That is correct.
You know how many personnel do they have there? Do you know?
I don't know, Mr. Chair. I'm sorry.
Okay, it seems like a lot of space for administration. You know,
Yes, it does, but
you know, so that's why I went. What else do they do there besides administrate? I mean, they got a lot of space.
the assessor may be able to answer that, Mr. Chairman. I have not inspected the property. The Assessment and Taxation Department inspected the property recently. So
Okay.
he may have some information with respect to what's actually going on in the space other than administrative purposes.
Okay, so basically, you don't know what else is going on there. You just know that it's administrative. Do they have any other space anywhere else that they do anything else out of?
Not to my knowledge, Mr. Chairman.
So the only location they have that they actually rent is this location.
That is correct.
Okay, thank you. I have no further questions. Okay, Mr. Logan.
Mr. Chair, sorry to interrupt. I just have one further clarification question
Okay.
for the applicant. Does this charity actually deliver to the individuals or to organizations or other entities that actually work with the individuals?
It is my understanding that they directly engage the individuals.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Okay. If that's all the questioning, then I'll turn it over to Mr. Lobenstein.
Thank you.
Okay. Yes, as mentioned by Mr. McCubbin, we did inspect this property. Upon inspection, it was noted by the office manager that this was strictly for administration work. There is no treatment or relief or assistance given to the aged, indigent, or sick persons. So Mr. McCubbin is seeking a change in classification under Act 23(1)(e). So it was owned or held in trust for and is used by a charitable organization primarily for the purpose of giving relief or assistance to the aged, indigent, or sick persons. So in this instance, although yes, we agree they are a charity, the work that's happening inside this specific premise is strictly administration work, and they are not providing any sort of treatment or personal care or any such thing in this instance. So we feel this doesn't fall under this portion of the act.
Okay, and that's basically where you're at. There's nothing further.
There's nothing further, no.
Okay, Mr. McCubbin, any questions you might have?
Yes, thanks, Mr. Chairman. Further to the chairman's question in regards to
Well, your
this.
questions right now, Mr. McCubbin. I don't want argument. You can
Sorry?
make a summation.
Oh, summation. Oh, okay.
No, you can make a summation after. Right now, you're asking Mr. Lowenstein any questions you might have.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you. Mr. Lowenstein, upon inspection, as you can see, it's a fairly large administrative space. Is there anything else taking place in that area other than for administration of the charity?
No, I mean, as we were told and what we inspected at the time, is strictly for administrative work. There was offices, there was meeting rooms. That's about it. There was nothing showing any sort of day planning or treatment rooms or education or anything like that.
So there are meeting rooms and et cetera for people to meet on occasion then?
I couldn't say if it was for the office staff to meet or if they're bringing other people to meet, but they did indicate through the office manager that this was administrative and there was no treatment happening at this place.
Okay, thank you. Those are all the questions I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Ms. Weirhoon, any questions?
When you spoke with the administration, were there any workshops that they mentioned being held at that facility?
I'll have to clarify, I did not inspect it personally. I sent out a coworker to inspect it at the time, and what they told me is that there was no workshopping or day programming or personal care or anything happening within there other than administrative and office work.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else, Ms. Weirhoon?
No, sir, thank you.
Thank you. Ms. McFadden, any questions?
So I'm confused. I assume that this charity provides, I don't know, some kind of financial help or supports, or they provide liaison with someone. And where are they doing it if they're not doing it here? Or is someone else doing it for them? That's what I've been trying to understand. Like someone is carrying out the mandate of this organization. And if it's not these people, who is it? Where are they?
I'm not too sure what the day-to-day operations are of this charity and what exactly SCE LifeWorks does, but I'm just speaking to this exact premise and this property, and they're just operating an administrative office here at the moment. How the outreach to whoever they're helping, I'm not too sure how that takes place.
Seems to me that that's kind of a critical piece of this.
All I can tell you is what they've told us, and that this office is just for administrative, or this premise is just for administrative use and office use.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chair, I do have one question, if I may.
Go ahead, Ms. Weirhoon.
Just to confirm, you are talking about Visions of Independence, are you?
Nope, I'm not talking about Visions of Independence. I'm talking about SCE LifeWorks Inc.
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought it was the other one.
Vision of Independence. We agree.
Yeah.
They are school tax exempt because they do have day programming at these premises, and they were school tax exempt before this. They just increased their space. So I am agreeing to that. Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah,
that's all, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so the exemption that they're applying for is under section 23(1)(e). And so it's got to be, they've got to be providing assistance to either aged, indigent, or sick persons. And I guess reading the mandate and going through Mr. McCubbin's evidence, it appears that these people have mental challenges that they assist. Is that correct, Mr. Lowenstein, to your knowledge?
From what was supplied in the evidence, yes, I would agree to that.
Okay, and if they provide assistance to people at home, it could be financial or sending people to their homes to help them in any way or whatever, they still would need, if they are an authorized charity, we have that clear. So
yeah,
they would need, so it's not unreasonable. They would need space though to operate from, to do the office work and everything else will fill their mandate, wouldn't they?
Yeah, sure. I'm not denying that they have office work, but I mean, in the way the act reads, it says primarily the purpose of giving relief, assistance, or aid. So we look at that as happening within that premise, not if they have satellite or satellite offices or other areas within the city, or if they help within the home, that's very honorable and fine, but that's not happening within this premise. Primarily, this premise is used for offices.
Okay, so here's the way I read it, and I'm just saying, because I want to give you a chance to dissuade me. So E is owned by or held in trust for and is used by a charitable organization primarily for the purpose of giving relief. Now, I'm saying that as saying it doesn't matter if they do it there, if they need the function to give relief and they have no other purpose, then doing that, what else could the space be for, even if it's not happening there?
Sure, and if you read up higher on section 23.1 where it starts, the subject of section 25 and 26, real property is exempt from taxation for school purposes where the real property, so the actual property itself, is giving the relief, is giving it the relief to the assistance to the aged, indigent, or sick persons. So if that's not happening within the real property, the actual premise itself, then they wouldn't be exempt.
Okay, and I see what you're saying, and that's a great argument, but to do that, they have to use the real property for administrative purposes to give relief. And if a charitable organization doesn't do anything else and they need an office somewhere, I think that I'm having a difficulty with that. The reason I'm pointing out to you is I want to get this right.
Yeah, I mean,
and I want you where I'm going, because if you can dissuade me, that's important, because I want to do it right. I don't want to.
All I can say is that yes, they are good people doing good things, but with the way the act reads and the interpretation of it from our point of view, they are not giving relief or assistance within this premise, and this is how the act reads.
Okay. I think that we'll have to assess that. Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Okay, so I think we've asked all questions, and it comes down to so Mr. McCubbin, just clearly then, before we close this, what is the total that you, I guess you give it to me again, that you're seeking as 40S exemption?
Okay, Mr. Chairman. Bear with me for a second, please. So the total we are seeking for exemption purposes and under 40S is $1,688,000.
Okay.
And that's a combination of the two charitable organizations within the property.
Because right now you have a 681,000, so you're asking for basically $1,008,000 more.
That's yes.
Okay, this is slightly higher.
Sorry, that was just probably a rounding issue in my part when it came to the calculations. But yeah, we're very close in value.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. That's helpful. Okay, well then we've made our decision on this item. So we're going to go on to item number 3. I think it is the next one, and we'll have to call back Ms. Rempel and allow Ms. McFadden to leave at this point.
Okay.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, should I leave the meeting right now?
Well, are you not arguing the remaining matters? I think there are. I understand that there's been recommendations, and I understand from talking to Mr. Lobison that you're agreeable to all of them. But I would like you here to agree to them, Mr. McCubbin.
Yes, thanks, Mr. Chairman. So which file number are you dealing with right now?
Okay, the next file will be the property at item number 3, which is the property at 675 Berry Street.
And what file number is that, Mr. Chairman?
That is file number 24-1865.
Thank you.
Okay.
So, Mr. Chair, on this item and the remaining items, we do have the issue of the late evidence for the capitalization rate study.
Okay, and I'm going to indicate again, as we have agreements on all of them, but thank you for pointing that out. We're not going to refer to that evidence in any event. So whether it's on time or not is really doesn't really matter.
So
'Cause
in that regard, does the applicant wish to have that evidence not be exhibited?
well, yeah, you don't have to exhibit it because we don't need it.
Okay,
Say, we're not going to look at it whether it's exhibited or not, so there's no point in exhibiting it. Okay, so we can go on with them with 675 Berry Street. Mr. Lobenstein, when you're ready.
Yep, the roll number is 075691355505. We have an assessed value of $6,650,000. I do have a verbal recommendation. My verbal recommendation is to reduce that value to $5,915,000. So that's 5,915,000.
Okay, and to get to that,
I get to that by using a rental rate of $9.15 a square foot, applying all other parameters.
okay. Any questions, Ms. Rempel?
No, I don't have any questions. Thank you.
Okay, and Ms. Warren, do you have any questions?
I do not, thank you.
Okay, and I think I already know this, but Mr. McCubbin, you're accepting the recommendation, correct?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I accept, subject to client's approval.
Okay, well, then I'm going to guess that you're reserving the right to go further to the municipal board if your client doesn't accept.
Yes,
There's-
that
it's
would
gonna
be
be
up
out
to
of
the
our realm.
client, of course, but we're recommending acceptance.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you, Mr. Okay, well then proceed then to item number 4, which is the property at 1216 Sherwin Road. And Mr. Lobenstein, when you're ready.
Okay, the roll number is 0703009200, 1216 Sherwin Road. We have an assessed value of $7,600,000. I do have a verbal recommendation for this property, and that is at $7,200,000. And that is, I get to that rate, I get to that number by changing the rental rate to $6.86 a square foot and applying all other parameters.
Okay. Any questions, Ms. Werfman?
No,
I do not, sir, thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Rempel, do you have any questions?
No, I do not. Thank you.
Thank you. And I don't either. And Mr. McCubbin, again, for the record, you're going to recommend acceptance to your client?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, subject to the client's approval, of course.
Okay.
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chairman, I should add that this ran late in the day, so we couldn't contact the client. It's not that they wouldn't accept it, but
No, but I understand you do want to leave it open, and you are recommending it, and on that basis.
for legal reasons, yes, we want to leave it open.
Yeah, well.
For legal matters, yes.
Well, if it helps in that one, yeah, okay.
Mr. Chair, I'm sorry. I'm just wondering, I noticed that the nature of application has 3 different things listed. The liability to taxation, the amount of assessed value, and the classification of the property.
Okay,
So,
thank you for that. I didn't see that, so thank you for that. So, Mr. McCubbin, if that's the case, you will withdraw everything you've contested except for assessed value?
That is correct, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, so you'll file a withdrawal before you leave today. Okay?
Pardon me?
You'll file a withdrawal when provided it to you.
With respect to the other issues?
Yes,
Yes.
that's fine. Thank you. Thank you for pointing that out.
Thank you.
Okay, that takes us to then our last item on the agenda today, item number 5, which is 1865 Sargent Avenue. And Mr. Lobenstein, when you're ready on that, you can proceed.
Just give me 1 second here. Yeah.
Sure.
Just trying to. I just have a few minutes here, Mr. Chairman. Can we go into recess? I need to call Howard quickly.
Yes, we can. We can have, how much time do you need? 5 minutes, 10 minutes?
10 minutes would be great.
10 minutes, okay. We're going to adjourn then till 1:40.
Yeah, that sounds great. Thank you. Just take a few minutes.
Okay,
Howard, I'll give you a call quickly. I just want to check something out.
Sure. Thank you.
Thanks.
thank you. Okay, we'll next deal with property at 1695 Sergeant Avenue being file number 243317. And Mr. Lobenstein, when you're ready, you can read it in.
Sure. The roll number is 0700247100. We're looking at 1695 Sergeant Avenue. We have an assessed value of $6,745,000. We believe that this should be confirmed, and that the appellant will also be confirming this property today.
Thank you, Mr. McCubbin. I understand that you were going to request that we enter a confirmation of the assessed value.
I'm a little confused now, Mr. Chairman. Just bear with me for a second. If I may ask, what is the confirmation regarding 1695 Sergeant, please?
So assessed value of $6,745,000.
This is rather confusing, Mr. Chairman. Can we go offline for 5 minutes? It'll only take 5 minutes, please. And I'd like to speak to Mr.
The only
Lobenstein.
reason why we're here is you indicate you were going to just enter a confirmation. So otherwise, I wouldn't ask you. I wouldn't have asked you to do that if you.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll just ask for a confirmation on that. All right.
Well, if you think you need time, I don't want to browbeat you.
I just
time
want
if you need it.
I would like to speak to Mr. Lobenstein for just a couple of minutes, please.
Sure.
Okay, I think it's important. I don't want to browbeat you. So I'll, by all means, we'll have another recess for 5 minutes then. Thank you. So again, we've already opened this up, and at this point, I did go to Mr. McCubbin, but I understand that Mr. Lobenstein has a recommendation on this property. So
Yes, I do have a recommendation on this property. The recommendation would be for $6,362,000. That's $6,362,000.
And how do you get to that?
Oh, sorry, yeah, a change in the rental rate to $9.09 a square foot.
And everything else means the same.
All other parameters are the same, yeah.
$9.09.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Any questions, Ms. Rempel?
I have no questions. Thank you.
Thank you. And any questions, Ms. Waroon?
I do not, thank you.
Thank you. And I don't have any questions. Mr. McCubbin, I understand that you're going to accept the recommendation.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I accept the recommendation with the client's final approval, of course. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, that then completes all items that were on the agenda today. We'll make our decisions, which we'll try to get out very soon. And thank you both for your cooperation and assistance in having this matter shortened to the point where it was.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thanks for
Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks,
everybody.
board members.
Have a good day, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.